born an athlete, you'll die an athlete. It's in your DNA.
You're an athlete. Live like an athlete so that you can be successful in life.
You're an athlete. Live like it.
ANA, America needs athletes.
Welcome, athletes, into another episode of the Gym Closet. We are in the Gym Closet live with Amber and Zach, as
Hello.
always. What's up, guys?
Not much.
We're talking about baby talk
Yep.
earlier
just getting
because
kicked in the side of the ribs, you know. No big deal.
just jabbing you,
Just kicking me.
going through a striking session in there.
Yep.
It's awesome. So we have an awesome episode today. We were talking about compete. Our word of the week is compete. We have some Q&A questions. We have our cravings, which I'm excited about, and then
Of course you are
shoutouts.
excited about this one.
Of course.
Because you were
I
just-
love my desserts. My
Yes, you
sweets.
do.
And just the holidays in general are always awesome. But if this is your first time joining us, the Gym Closet is a Krave Gym podcast. We talk about why it's important to live like an athlete, what that all entails, and why that would help you be more successful in life. And we kind of give actionable steps and tips to living your life like an athlete. So what do we want to start with today?
You start with the craving?
Let's craving. All right.
All right.
You jump into craving. So the last craving, this was probably our most voted on craving.
Yeah, it was. It was a good one.
And everything was
Ever.
close too. Like
Yeah.
there was really no.
So we did.
Like
If
blowouts.
you guys did not see us, you need to make sure you follow one of us, or follow Krave Gym, or the Gym Closet, or do we do it on the Gym Closet?
We do some.
Something?
Yeah, I needed it. Yeah, I think I tag it on there, but I don't know if you reshare it because I don't have
probably
access to
not.
that
Oh, okay.
Instagram
So
account. On mine.
myself, Zach, Amber, or Krave Gym. That's the 4 accounts that we do it on.
Yeah.
Okay. So follow those accounts on Instagram and Facebook if you want to vote on these. They're awesome every week. So last week we did movies.
Yeah, so we had Christmas with the Cranks, which, have you guys seen that one?
And you guys voted on this too.
Yeah,
So like everybody at home voted on the movies that were
They
included.
recommended
Yeah, that's
movies
right.
and they
Yeah,
put 'em in
we had
there.
people that voted first to get our 8. Yeah.
Christmas with the Cranks, haven't seen it, but I love Tim Allen, so I might have to watch that one.
It's good.
Okay.
It's one of those like
But you know my humor, our humor's different.
you would like it because I'm annoyed by it.
Yes, that's exactly our life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Deal.
We'll go with it. Have you seen it?
Yeah, but it's been a long
It's
time.
for
yeah.
me. It's super anxiety ridden like the entire time.
I couldn't even remember what it's about. Honestly, it's been so long. I know I've seen it, but it's been a long time.
Christmas Vacation.
Yep.
And I love these images. Like, do you notice how old school these movies
Oh,
are?
yeah,
But like these
for
images
sure.
Oh,
are
yeah.
so new. Because I
Yeah.
was looking at this like,
Oh, they've remade the
They've like
images.
Yeah,
redone the images. Yeah.
A Christmas Story, Elf, The Santa Claus, Home Alone, and The Grinch and Die Hard did make it in there, which
Die Hard.
we need to talk about.
No, Die Hard got
So-
like 20 votes.
I got a lot of.
As
I know
far
it
as,
did,
like,
and you know what's so funny? I don't know.
suggestions.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I told you this, but I was coaching Kyle Weber at Waukee last week. I was like, all right, they're running on the chart. I'm like, what's your guys' favorite Christmas movie? And
He said
Kyle
Die
Weber, he's like, I don't know, I need to think about it. So I come back, I'm like, do you think about it? He's like, Die Hard. I'm like, no, you did not, because we literally just had this conversation. And then Katie said Home Alone. I was like, yes, that's a Christmas movie. Die Hard isn't. But we had, 6 or 7 people say Die Hard. And I don't know if they did it because they listened to this podcast and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm going
They
to put that in
could.
there.
They could have.
But part of
So
me...
Brian White, I love the guy. He not only put on his
Yeah.
Facebook, he got on Tammy's and voted Die
Oh, I
Hard
wondered
on
if he did
hers
that.
too.
Yeah.
Or I was like, did Tammy vote that? Anyways, so Die Hard did sneak in there because I just wanted to see it lose because it's not a Christmas movie.
But it is. If any
Okay.
movie that you only see at Christmas, they only replay it on Christmas. So maybe it
And so
wasn't
here's the
like
thing, though.
a
I
Christmas
can't really
movie at
talk
the
because I
beginning.
don't like movies.
Yeah, you don't watch movies.
I don't even know what
this
it's
isn't even
about.
a conversation.
Looking at the cover, it didn't look like a family-friendly Christmas movie.
No, definitely not. But I think that it's gotten pushed into a Christmas movie. That's my opinion. So
Okay.
it may never, it definitely was not meant to be a Christmas movie. It probably wasn't even made or dropped during the holidays. But you only can see it replays during the holiday season, which is awesome because then I watch it every year.
Yep.
All right, so the finals came down to Elf and Home Alone.
Yep. And Home Alone took it away.
Home Alone took it away. So these are crazy votes, though. We had 108 votes for Elf and 147 votes for Home Alone, which I would agree that those two are probably my favorite as well.
Mm-hmm.
But
I can't remember. I put two together, and I got several comments that like those two should be in the top ones.
what was it?
I don't remember.
Well, it had to probably have been Home Alone or Elf was one of them.
Yeah.
Good
Still
radio.
good in
Just
my-
silence the whole time.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. We're looking. While she's looking for that, we'll get
I
into
think
the
it
next one.
was Christmas Vacation and Elf.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Those are
Christmas,
kind of
Christmas
two.
Vacation
That's
is my
true.
personal favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know that's
Okay.
a good one, but yeah, I think those two got in there, and they're like those should be. At
But
the
those,
top,
that was
but-
that was the semifinals, right?
yeah.
I think we won the
So
first
you
time,
didn't you didn't put them against each other first
Right
round.
away, no.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well, then they're going to meet each other somewhere.
Yeah, they
It's
gotta-
not the championship. So no, I like it.
Well, that should have been different sides of the bracket, or like
You can't. That's tough to
I
tell.
know. So
That's
then,
so
but then
tough
it
to
takes
tell.
so much time because I already think about this a lot. You guys, like,
yeah.
I should
We need to go through and
things.
seed
Right.
these 1 through 8.
I
Apparently.
love it. Okay,
so
so
then I'd waste too much.
so
time.
then moving on to the next week's craving, we have drum roll holiday desserts, which we had like Amber argued with me saying like what holiday desserts are the same as all desserts, and I about had a fit. Holiday desserts are not the same as all desserts because you have so many different things that you only get on the holidays with fudge and peppermint bark and gingerbread and candy canes and all sorts of stuff. So those
I
are
feel
some
bad
examples.
because
that
I
we
don't
threw.
make any of this for you.
No, so if anyone else feels bad and wants to deliver any of those goodies to the gym, just let me know. We'll take them for the holidays.
You know who would probably do
I'm
it
on
is
both
Tammy.
Tammy,
Speaking
yeah,
of Tammy.
Yes, Tammy
This
always.
is a call to
You know what,
action
though?
for you,
When-
Tammy.
She
Right.
does such a good job of bringing snacks.
When I
to
was
the
sitting
gym.
in the office, I was like, it'd be kind of fun to start like a family tradition, just starting to bake some of that stuff. But I don't know.
Or an athlete
That's
tradition
getting-
of bringing it in.
I like that
For coaches.
more. Yeah, because we're not home enough to bake that. I guess during the holidays though.
Yeah.
We're home more. All right. Well, we will have a bracket of 8, and hopefully we get them on the right side. Hopefully we rank them
I hope.
the right way
Now
so
I'm
that we
gonna
can
think
put them
about
together.
it even harder.
But we'll have that vote going out this week, and so stay tuned on that. It's on all of our stories, so it's only good for 24 hours. So if you miss a vote,
Right.
shit out of luck. All right, so next one we got. Do we want to get into our Wild Week?
Sure.
All right, so you guys don't even know what the Wild Week
I
is.
don't.
this
I
week.
was waiting for you to lay it on and be like, all right, what's our wow of the week? What kind
Let's make one of you guys do it right now.
Zach?
Let's compete,
No.
right? I said it earlier.
Yeah. Oh, I did say it earlier. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay.
In the
So,
office, but
So this week's word of the week is compete, and so there's a lot of negative connotation to it because I think of just the general definition of it, which is the actual Webster definition is strive to gain or win something by defeating or establishing superiority over others who are trying to do the same. So that itself, as far as like the definition, kind of has a negative connotation to it. But and as athletes, I think this is so important that competing should never get a bad name, because I think that if you don't compete in life, you're not going to win. That's the only way to win is to be competitive. And I think that maybe over competitive people or people that are bad sports about competing kind of give it a bad name, but you can compete in a healthy way. You can always be competitive, and that's going to be what helps you strive to get to your goals. And if you're not competitive, and even if you're competitive with yourself, you're not going to push yourself. You're not going to make yourself better or strive to compete. And in my experience, one of the big things that throughout sports is I always wanted to be the best. And whatever that meant, whatever I was doing, if I was the best on the field that day, if I was the best at my position to get a position, whatever the case might be. And the big thing about that is learning how to compete and do it in kind of a humble way. Because if you're an asshole about it, then that competitiveness gets spun to that negative. But if you do it in a humble way and you compete every single day, then that's going to help you achieve your goals. And so some quotes from, of course, Michael Jordan. You have competition every day because you set such high standards for yourself that you have to go out every day and live up to that. And so that's one of the things that's kind of like a compete against yourself and compete against others. And I think if you guys watched the Michael Jordan documentary at all?
Yeah.
You have? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so like you got to see a little bit of his competitive, and he's arguably the best that's ever played basketball. And I know there's a LeBron argument, and we're not going to get into that.
Kobe, maybe.
Kobe argument, yeah.
There's no argument, actually. There's no argument.
I don't think that there's an argument, yes. But, and especially after watching the Michael Jordan thing,
yeah.
I don't think, like, his frame of mind and his competitiveness that not only pushed him to compete, but pushed his team to compete, right. Everyone around him better. Now, he was, a lot of people said that he was an asshole and that he would grind your buttons, but he knew, if you look at kind of the interview versus how he got the results, he always got the best results out of his guys. If he's yelling at someone, he knows that person can handle yelling. And if he's pushing someone so hard to the point where they break and quit or start drama or whatever in his career, he knew that person wasn't the best fit for their team. And all he wanted to do was win championships, and he did it. I mean, that's the case with Michael Jordan. But competing and competing on a daily basis in your life, that's kind of what the actionable steps that we want to take today. And so, with myself and in the gym, we want to make sure that we're competing with ourselves, being the best, doing the best things as far as like habits and different things that we can set up ourselves, competing against ourselves that way. Whether if I'm doing like a video or whatever, I always compete against myself and my past products or whatever, or productions, and try to beat myself in that. But even then competing against, other gyms and being the best for our athletes, competing against other gyms is important for us, because if in our competition, I think as far as a gym goes, when I think about it, I think athletes come first. Like that's the very first thing that we have to worry about. And if our athletes are getting the results that we're trying to do, that means that we're winning that competition. And so that's going to be, one of the things that we do on a daily basis. But what are some other things that you guys kind of compete with every day, or whether it's with yourself or
you at home?
Yeah, your spouse. Yeah, no, like we're both very competitive, so that's true. Like we had an argument the other day.
No.
About
Oh.
So what?
No, I don't know what you're
Oh,
gonna say.
okay. So we had an argument the other day about which direction to go.
Oh my word! I'm still. I actually wanted to Google this and MapQuest it, but okay, let's.
Right. So
I would be interested to hear other people's opinions on this.
So we would. Well, we'll figure out that. I'll Google it. I know that they're probably the exact same.
Okay.
But we both, being competitive, were arguing about it like crazy for probably 10 minutes.
So I will. Okay, Tyler drives super slow. I am a terrible. I drive fast. I have places to be. You just think about shit and drive, right? I'm just like, let's get there, like that road rage person. So when I'm in the passenger side, I don't always shut my mouth when he's driving. I'm like, you should have went right. Okay, so we were at Nike.
Yep.
And we were going to go over to West Des Moines.
Crave West Des Moines.
Crave West Des Moines. So we were over by Samurai Sushi.
So it's where you get out on that road that goes around the mall, the whole way around the mall.
Behind Samurai. Okay. Yeah. So my thinking is I would have went right and then went down to, the streets. I don't
68th Street there or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
And then I would have taken a left and then went right on EP True.
Right.
So Tyler, we're right behind Samurai. He takes a left and goes down to Jordan Creek Parkway.
Yep.
And then he goes down and then he takes a right on EP True. And I was like, no, we're going west.
You thought that we were going out of the way.
Yes.
But we go north. The only way we go out of the way is like 10 foot.
But it's still out of the way.
That's 10 foot out of the way.
Still backtracking.
But you get to go. See? But then you get to go right and right. So you go right on red, versus waiting for your left light to go there. That's this was my point. And
No, but then you started
But I
getting
think they're both-
stoplights into it. So I'm like, oh,
Yes.
now we're going to get
But
stoplights
this
and
is why
going
they're
left and
competing.
right.
Competing.
No, because you know what's
This is
funny? And I
competitiveness.
shut my mouth because you asked me just when I'm driving, shut your mouth. And I said, all right.
Yes, I like that.
So on the way back, because Nike was closed, then we had to waste time. So we brought the kids in here. So on the way back, you went all the way down Jordan Creek. And then you took 2 lefts at the busiest stoplights in town. And I didn't even say anything. So I'm like, oh, there's your left turns. But I could have been an asshole and called you out on that.
Oh, but so then distance-wise, it probably makes sense.
Oh.
Because I went,
Because if
No,
you would have went
same
the other
way.
way, you would have taken 1 left and then 2 rights. So
but I went the same way as I
but
went
there's
back.
a lot of left turns.
So that's like the way to go.
So you think
We're gonna have to Google it.
I don't
We're
know.
gonna
I am-
solve this problem.
I am literally the last person that anyone should be asking about like any sort of like West Des Moines or Waukee driving tips. Like I'm
Right.
the last person.
yeah, I'm
like I
still
said, my town growing up, I lived like 3 miles from civilization, and like my town, it was of 500 people, and I don't know how I managed to like function driving around here.
So do you have to
right
use
now.
your
I have-
GPS?
I,
wherever
I
you
use
go?
my GPS like literally
This is the big city for you.
everywhere. Yeah, this
Yep.
is a huge city for me. Yeah, like I use my
That's
GPS literally to get everywhere.
Yeah.
I can't function without
But
it.
do you get anxious driving or no? Are you okay with it?
I get anxious driving like downtown.
Okay.
Like around here, I don't really.
Yeah.
Like I can handle this, but like if I go downtown, it freaks me out.
Downtown's
yeah.
always because there's those one ways and downtown's
Yeah,
I hate
downtown's
driving.
hard.
I would hate to work downtown.
I've turned
for some reason, but people
going
love
against a one-way before.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
scarred
Really?
me.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. Well, being from
Right.
Omaha, you have a lot more. But
yeah.
that. Well, we're gonna.
So
figure
yeah,
this out.
competitiveness. So
I forgot about
what's
it.
okay, what?
I said I forgot
Compete.
about it until you brought it up again
Oh,
because
good.
I was gonna Google that and figure it out for you.
We'll Google it. We'll
Facts.
figure out
Straight
everything. Somebody needs to be googling that right
Um,
now and comment.
Someone should be commenting
So, yeah.
live right now with the right way.
So what's some of the things that you've kind of competed in life, and because of that competitiveness, Zach, how did that affect you positively or one way or another, whether it's sports or life or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, sports probably the first thing and one of the better ways that you can learn to compete. So it's one of those things where, like I was talking about, I come from a pretty small school, so there wasn't really a lot of competition necessarily for, like you were talking about, earning that starting spot. A lot of times, at my school, it was a case of, literally join so we can have enough people to form a team. you
Oh,
know?
sure, yeah.
But then it got to the point, baseball was my big sport, so, when I first started, playing, in Iowa, we play in the summer, so you can play up as an 8th grader. So I started playing, varsity as an 8th grader at my school. And I mean, we were not good, very good,
Sure.
But then I got to a point where we got a new coach. He started kind of instilling, the fundamentals, started instilling, some, positive habits for us. And it got to a point where, toward my junior, senior year, we're starting to win some games, and we're starting to, learn as a team how to compete, and then it got to the point where, I started coaching there for a couple of years when I was in college, and we got to the point where we're, having winning seasons and stuff, so it's one of those things where, learning how to compete there and learning kind of myself, but also as a team, how to compete, with others, I would say it really taught me that, that value of hard work and that, how having that good work ethic, will eventually pay off. It took years, it took a long time, but we went from, not winning a game as an 8th grader to, 5 years later, we're having winning seasons, and that's just a result of that hard work and that competitiveness. I would say that's, transitioned then into, me going into school and getting to my career. When I was in college, I was competitive. I wanted to, get the best grades. I wanted to, we had a personal training program when I was at UNI. I wanted to be the best personal trainer I could be there. I wanted to be better than the other ones. Now I want to be the best coach that I can possibly be. So I'm competing, with myself there. I'm thinking, what can I do better? Like you said, that we can, have the athletes get the best experience, and how can I be my best for the athletes?
Yeah.
So I think that, for me right now, competing, with myself and trying to better myself, each and every day, and just continuing to do that moving forward and seeing those results, which has been really cool so far. Yeah.
And it's huge as coaches too. And it I guess in any career, it helps you not rest on your laurels and
Oh, definitely.
and
definitely.
make you it makes you the front of mind awareness of how can I, like, I've said this in my own head, how can I get better today, and what things do I need to do to get better? And it makes you do extra things to push yourself. You know, we could all, you know, not compete and do the status quo and just do the same thing every day, and we'd all probably survive, but we wouldn't be the best, and we wouldn't have created, you know, what we created here at Krave, and we wouldn't, you know, have the best coaches that continue to try to compete. And a lot of our coaches, most of our coaches, all of our coaches have past athletic careers, and I think that teaches something and instills something in you that that kind of brings that competitiveness out.
That's one thing I was going to bring up is we have athletes here who haven't played sports in their lives, you know, but we still consider them athletes because they're showing up to be the best version of themselves, and that's been living their life like an athlete.
Now.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But it makes me, you know, wonder. So you grow up as an athlete, you find that competitiveness in you at a young age, right? So people that don't necessarily have that,
I think they're
growing up.
I
You
think
they're
there's a
still
lot of
as
people
competitive
that
or
may
not?
not be as physically athletic, and so that's obviously something that we work on here is creating that athleticism in anybody. But somebody that might not be, I don't think that necessarily takes away from competitiveness. A lot of times, I think like a lot of the stories that I've heard from, you know, band practice or, you know, with musical instruments and stuff like that is just as competitive in a high school band to try to get the position
absolutely.
For sure.
chorus.
But that's
or
still, so
whatever
I'm
the
saying
case
people
might
that
be.
don't really have any hobbies, who maybe they're not in band or, you know, any of that stuff. It's like, do they ever find that competitive edge in maybe in the workplace then when they start there or something? I would
That's
just be
interesting.
interested
That's
in
interesting to see.
Yeah.
to see.
But I think that the people that are successful, whether they have past physical athletics or not, all have that competitiveness in them, because no matter what, like even if I've never done anything physical and I'm a software designer, or I'm, you know, and I sit all day on a computer, or maybe I'm a video gamer, right? Gamers are, you've heard like people on the headsets,
Oh yeah.
you know, a 9-year-old cussing out a 35-year-old because he's beating them in some video game, right? And so like that's the competitiveness that you don't, that is still instilled in us, I think, as humans, to just be the best that we can be. And not everybody has the same, you know, talents, and that's what's great about being a human, is everyone's so individual. But what I'd like to get through to everybody is be competitive at what you do, because, and that's why I think that the negative connotation of compete stems from people a lot of times that don't realize that they compete in different ways. They might look at someone in sports and maybe on a professional level and say, you know, they were over competitive and said something stupid or did something stupid, so compete is bad.
Right.
But I think that they don't realize that, but I am competing at my job every single day. I am competing against myself every single day. You know, I cook dinner every night, and I compete.
You do?
No.
Oh.
I'm saying if I'm a homemaker,
You're going
I cook.
okay.
Say I don't have a job, and I'm a homemaker for my career, and I compete
to
in
be
the kitchen
the best
every-
like parent or whatever. Yeah, for
so
sure.
I mean that's stuff that I don't think that I think it gets a bad connotation sometimes, and it shouldn't.
Oh, 100%.
You know?
Because I know when we have the challenge, like we have weekly challenges here, and I think some people can get so in their heads about what it's not.
Yeah.
They start to take the competition away from themselves and start to put it towards what are these other people going to think of me?
Right.
Yeah.
But nobody
that's really
is
big
focusing on what you're doing
That's
or
what's
how well
funny
you're
is
doing it. Like you
everyone's
gotta
so selfish that no one gives a shit what everyone else is doing. They're pushing themselves as hard as
to be the best. And the thing is like you might come in, like say we have a curve, half mile on the curve. One week you might crush it. The next week you just might show up and not do well because you're tired,
fatigued,
or something's going on with your body. You know, it's just look at those competitions internally, but don't, because if you have a negative attitude starting at 5 a.m. that you have to compete against something, that's going to carry on for the rest of your day. You know, try to do your best every time there is something to compete against, and just focus on yourself, you know, not necessarily other people.
Yeah, and competing
But-
with yourself is half of
And with
compete, you know.
with my network marketing business, I mean, you see it all the time. You know, we're always cheering each other on, but we're always competing against each other in a friendly, healthy way. So if someone hits another title advancement, we're all going to cheer that person on. But it gives me hope and goals and pushes me to become better because I know other people can do it. So why limit myself to staying complacent with where I'm at?
Right.
And so it's healthy for me because I can see it like, if she can do this, I can do this, you know? And so for me, I compete in that way for myself, and it just helps push me to, you know, become the best in that business sense. So.
And with Road and Field, you like seeing the achievement come with that competitiveness too, right? So you have a post where you're top 20 or whatever those things are on certain teams, and you can see that kind of stuff. And we, you know, that's what I think is cool about Krave too, with our competition.
But if I have a bad month, I don't look at it as a negative way. I just say, what are things I could have done better to make myself get on that list?
But that's because you're competitive, right?
Right.
Because now you're going to
But I
compete
also don't
with
look at it
your
a
bad
negative
month.
way. I don't think
Right.
I'm a bad in this business or all these feelings. And I think sometimes it's hard to disconnect those two from each other. If it was just a bad month, but look at ways to strive forward and, you know, move past that.
Right. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, and that kind of leads into, so we've had a lot of people that are competitive at Krave and want to know, you know, when is the next. We've had a bunch of people, I think, over at Waukee ask, and then I got a couple people ask yesterday about championships, and so we are actually going to do the last week of this season. We're going to be doing the championship, so we'll have more details on that next week. So tune in live for the details of the championship, but it's basically a week long, and we won't have a singular event because we're limited in numbers right now with COVID. But we're going to have kind of something similar to like or I think the CrossFit Games went online virtual this for the first couple rounds too, and so we're gonna have some cool stuff coming that we'll go over those details next week. But let's go into our athlete shout outs.
You want to start?
I'll start this week, yeah. My athlete that I wanted to shout out is Molly ONeal. She has started up with nutrition coaching with me about four or 5 weeks ago. And she was actually, so she was doing nutrition coaching back earlier this year before COVID and everything. She's doing a really good job. She took some time off from nutrition over the summer. And she knew that she wanted to get back into it. So I started working with her about a month ago. And she, from week one, has absolutely crushed her numbers every single week. So kind of like I told her, you know, even though she's had some experience doing it in the past, I mean, if you take 6 months off and you try to get back into it, I think everyone would agree it's hard. Like it's very rare that we'll see people that just jump in, even if it's someone that's done it for 3 years and then they take a few months off. It's hard when you don't have the routines and the habits like right on top of your mind.
It takes me.
To come back
I've been
in.
doing it for 12 years, and it takes
yeah.
me 2 weeks to get
get back into it. Yeah,
track,
exactly.
You know?
I mean, it's hard to jump back in and hit your numbers. I mean, she's been like borderline perfect for like 3 weeks now.
That's awesome.
And she's seen the results that come from it, you know, too. And you know, this week she had stuff come up where, you know, she had to head home for a few days, and that was unplanned. You know, so I mean, this week, you know, we get on, and you know, there was a couple of days where she wasn't able to track, just because of, you know, things that came up. But like I told her, the biggest thing, I mean, so she had 3 days where she wasn't able to track this week, and then she came back in, and the last, you know, you take a couple of days off from tracking, and then even just those few days, it's hard to, you know, it takes a week sometimes to get back into, you know, the routines and the habits again. So she did not, you know, use it as an excuse to be like, well, let's just give up on this week. You know, she got a couple days back in, she hit her numbers, and now that sets her up perfectly for, you know, this coming week. And she's going to have great numbers again, you know, rather than giving up on the whole week and, you know, thinking, well, let's start up again next week. You know, she hit her numbers in the last couple of days, nailing it, and then she's going to start seeing results again, you know. So, I mean, she, you know, asks questions when she needs to. She's always talking to people about it. So, yeah, good job, Molly. Keep it up.
Awesome.
Good job.
Good work.
My athletes are Alexis and Rasim, or Rasim. I didn't know he went by both. Some people call him Rasim, some people call him Rasim. So there's a helpful tip for you, Zach, if you ever butcher his name like I. No, I thought I did, and he's like, no, I go by both because people don't. Clearly, I don't know how to. I'll ask him listen to it, and he's like giving me crap about his last name, but.
Well, we even had a comment on there.
Yeah,
like
I told him that.
That's why we made these shirts so that Amber could actually pronounce
athlete.
Athlete. That's how
Guys,
you say
come
athlete.
on, cut me some slack. If it was like if we did this at 2 p.m, I'd be prime.
It takes a little bit to wake up. I hear it.
No, I can't pronounce. I'll just throw it out there. I need to probably start reading books and increase my vocabulary, but I'll just leave that to you. So they.
I don't do that.
Your vocabulary is pretty good.
But we've had this discussion. We have Tylerisms that like could be one of 9 words, and that's a 1 of 9
Well, I
chance
like
of getting it right.
It makes you sound super smart.
Right?
So.
Yeah.
Or super stupid.
You're just inventing new words.
Right, yeah.
Anyways, so they called, how long ago? 2 weeks ago, they called me, and I had a good conversation with them, and they were just saying that they were at the same gym, just going through the same motion. So they would do a good job of putting themselves through kind of like a circuit training, but they, by the time they got to the gym, planned out what they wanted to do, did the workout, and then got home. They said it was like an hour and a half, and they were drained mentally because they just wanted someone to tell them what to do. So I said, oh, well, we have the perfect gym for you. So they showed up, did a training session, went to an Anytime Fitness, tried it out. Obviously went back to that just 24/7 and realized that they really needed the team and the push from a coach to get them to where they want to be. So they signed up, and ever since then, they've been hitting the training sessions 3 times a week, have been showing up, working hard. Alexis is, they're both super coachable, and Alexis actually won one of the top, I think she won in bench press. So it was her first week in, and she got like the top. Yeah, she did a really good job. So it's just good to see them, having fun and loving the sessions and stuff like that. So and pushing each other, like they feed off of each other. They're always giving each other high fives. It's cool.
They like to compete.
That's awesome. But it's a good friendly competition. So So keep it up, guys.
Sweet. So my athlete shout out is going to be with someone that's he's done crazy things here at Krave. He's basically been an athlete with us for almost 6 years now. But Reddy is I'm working with him again for PT. So he lost at one point he lost almost a little over, I think, close to 100 pounds, and just got crazy in shape. When he first came here, then some things happened. He got stuck in Maryland. He's originally from India. Got stuck in a bunch of places during quarantine. Was with his parents. Gained a lot of weight back, and now he's getting back into it again. Kind of to reach to the point that you had, Zach, is getting back into it is so tough. The second time around, but he always has such a great attitude. He's been back now for like 8 weeks, and I think he's down close to 20 pounds now, which is awesome. But he's crushing it. He's not a small guy. Like he's a big built guy, so he's very strong too. But his main goal right now is lose body fat, and so that's why we're trying to lose as much body fat as possible. But he's able to lift and push a lot of weight around too, so that's always fun. But coming back, he's had such a great attitude with one of those things like, I've done it before, I know I can do it again. I do nutrition with him as well, and so he's hitting his numbers and he's doing everything that he needs to do. He actually had a game that he wanted to watch, a soccer game last night. Soccer or cricket, I can't remember. He watches both right now, and we're in season for both, I guess. But it was at 2 a.m. Because they're all played overseas. So he was like, I was really about to text you because we trained this morning. I was really about to text you and tell you I couldn't come in because I was going to watch that game, but then he didn't, and he went to bed and he trained because the training is important to him right now. So that was really cool. And he has just such a great mindset when it comes to it, and he's been killing it. So huge shout out to Sai.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, and that's what he does. Like a lot of his weekends are flipped, so he almost goes to nights because he wants to watch those games. And so he'll watch the games until like 5 a.m. Because they're like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock start times.
Yeah, if it is cricket, they have such an awesome community because we have a few guys over in Waukee too that go and play cricket too. But it's a good community that they have.
And that's the other thing. So he actually tore his ACL. That's one of the other reasons he gained some weight back was he played cricket.
He got in all good shape and then he tore it, right?
Yeah,
that was pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in really good shape. That was kind of the peak of his first time around. Tore it, and it took about a year to see him again consistently because then we hit quarantine and all that stuff, and he got stuck at his sister's in Maryland or something, and it was a crazy quarantine year for him. But
do you guys know how to play cricket? I don't know the rules at all.
I don't know too much. I know the rules, and I've watched it.
Yeah.
I've
like
never
fast-paced, like
yeah, it is. Yeah, I've never
lacrosse
actually.
kind.
It's baseball.
It's
no, I know what it
similar
is, but is it like fast-paced? Like because lacrosse is pretty fast. Oh, it's baseball.
It's baseball.
Oh.
Lacrosse is more like soccer.
I thought it. Why was I thinking? Okay, maybe I don't know what cricket is.
Cricket, you basically have that thick cricket bat. You have a pitcher that pitches it, and you hit it, and then you go back and forth. Instead of bases, you go back and forth, and that's how many runs you get. Is how many times you can go back and forth before they bring the ball back, and it's a full 360 too. So you could hit it. I believe you can hit it. There's no like foul balls. There's no like foul balls.
I don't know.
Yeah, but no, it's cool. So I'll have to ask him more about specifics, but no, it's pretty cool. And he's a stud when it comes to playing cricket. Like they won the championship on his torn knee, just before quarantine, I think, and he hit a home run to like win the game or something, and they won the championship here in Des Moines. So
interesting. For some reason, I was thinking it was a game like. With the like tennis, but what are those little balls that like they have? Is it badminton?
Over the net?
Yeah, I was thinking it was something around tennis, badminton, like that kind of game.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. The birdie or the
I don't know.
Shuttlecock.
The shuttlecock.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Awesome. All right. Do we have anything else you guys want to cover today?
Don't think so.
I think that's about time. And you got session at 10. So
yes.
Thanks everyone for listening to the Gym Closet. What else? Anything else we want to sign off? Any announcements this week that we want to
make sure you get out and vote. Vote for those desserts.
Yep. Vote for those desserts.
Definitely.
Stay tuned. Next week we will be talking about the championship, and if there's a little bit more of what we got. We got a couple promotions going on right now. So our T-shirts that we're wearing right here, these can be given to they're free if you give to a friend and put them under the Christmas tree for them. So our athlete, we will give you December for free if you pay that forward, and that pays for one of your friends' January's. So it really doesn't cost you anything. You get a free shirt to give to a friend, and they get to join you in the gym in January. And so it's really a win-win for everybody involved. And so all we need is come talk to your coach about it, let them know shirt size, and then name, phone number, and email for whoever you're giving it to. And then we'll get everything set for their membership. You pay your normal December, and that actually pays for your friend's free month in January. And so you don't change anything about what you're doing. And so that's kind of the deal that we got going on for all of our athletes internally. And then I thought we had another thing going on.
Oh, the giveaway on Instagram.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So we're doing a free 8-week nutrition coaching for doing a Krave bottle for anybody who likes, tags friends, and shares it on Instagram, and same thing on Facebook. So get on to Krave Gym.
Every comment with 3 people is a entry. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So 3, and then 1 after that's an entry too. So you don't have to do like bundles of 3.
Okay.
Pretty much everyone.
And shares.
Yes.
Shares is an entry as well.
So that's 2. entries.
2 entries.
into it.
Okay, cool.
So if you share it on your story or you share it on your Facebook page, you get bonus entries. But
Awesome.
everyone you tag is pretty much 1 entry.
Perfect.
So.
Sweet. So yeah, go ahead and tag your friends. Get into that entry for a really cool supplement pack and an 8-week free nutrition. Right?
Yep.
All right. Awesome. So those are 2 things we got going for all of our athletes. Let us know. Let your coaches know if you have any other questions or anything. And as always, you're an athlete. Live like it.